assignment. So if you go to my Bitmoji classroom, you can click on the link right here to Commonlit, and it'll bring you to the login. You're a new user, so you click Sign Up, and I'm a student. And you enter the class code ZGN6PP and click Submit. Then you're going to enter your information, and I'm going to enter myself in here, 5th grade. You can put in the password that you use regularly. So if you use a particular code, put that password in, okay? The one that you use for rapid identity would be perfect. And then you click Set Up Your Account. And then it tells you exactly what your username is, and you put Got It. Okay, so that's my username. It tells you to write it down. Make sure you write it down. Click Got It. When you come in, you'll see that you have an assignment here. So it says Assignments to Do, Shattuck Reading. This tells you if something's in progress of being graded, and this tells you what assignments you've completed. You click Begin Assignment, and then it opens up. Okay, and it gives you a little bit of information. So it says J. Patrick Lewis is an American poet and prose writer known for his children's poetry. In this poem, a speaker describes the effects of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on the bus for a white passenger. As you read, take notes on who the many and the few are. And you click Got It. This is a guided reading. Okay, so you can see that I have all this reading here, and then a question, and then everything's blurred out after that. So let's start with this story, The Many and the Few. And this is for Rosa Parks, part-time seamstress, Montgomery, Alabama, December 1st, 1955. Okay, this right here was what we already read, so I'm not going to read it again. It was an Alabama day for both the many and the few. There wasn't really much to do. No one had very much to say, until a bus, the 415, drove by, but no one chanced to see it stop to pick up history. The doors closed slowly on a scene. The quiet seamstress paid her fare and took the one seat she could find, and as it happened, just behind the many people sitting there. The many people paid no mind until their driver, J.P. Blake, told the few of them to take the deeper seats, but she declined. You click question 1 and you'll see the guided reading questions come up over here. What does the bus driver want Rosa Parks to do? Well, right here is where it says what you're looking for. So you can highlight it just like that, okay? And he wants Rosa Parks to do what? So he told the few of them to take the deeper seats. Well, the deeper seats would mean to move backwards. So we want to move to the back of the bus. And you can see I got a full star on that. If I got it incorrect, I'll show you what happens next, okay? Blake stopped the bus and called the police, and many a fire was set that night, and many a head turned ghostly white, because she dared to disturb the peace, to celebrate the ride that marks the debt the many owe the few. That day of freedom grew into the century of Rosa Parks. And you click question 2, and it says Rosa Parks is celebrated because she. What did she do that was celebrated? Okay, so it says many a fire was set that night. That's part of it. The debt that many owe the few. The day the freedom grew into the century of Rosa Parks. So this is where we find our answer. But let's see what happens when we answer wrong. So Rosa Parks is celebrated because she challenged racial segregation, once refused to sit in the colored section, encouraged others not to give up their seats, or quietly gave up her seats on the bus. So if we said she did that, you can see it's incorrect answer. So what did she do? Well, she challenged racial segregation. You can see I got it kind of right. So it took me 2 tries. So I can see just where you had an issue. Then you click Continue, and it will come to the assessment. Okay, you can see I have 4 questions in the assessment. So part A, which of the following identifies the theme of the poem? Well, the theme is kind of like what advice would you give Rosa Parks or the author in this situation? What would be the best piece of advice? One person's action can impact many others. Well, that's a good piece of advice. It doesn't take much to create important change. It takes many people to create positive changes in the world, or only certain people have the power to start a movement. Well, which one of those is the most true for this? Well, we know that one person's actions changed racial segregation, so I'm going to click that. Okay, the next question is a part B. Which best supports the answer to part A? So what this right here is looking for is proof of what you said. So I said one person's action can impact many others. Well, let's prove it. Which one of those says that one person impacted others? There wasn't really much to do. No one had very much to say. It doesn't prove that anything happened. The quiet seamstress paid her fare and took the one seat she could find. Still not quite proving the fact that her actions impacted others. And many a head turned ghostly white because she dared disturb the peace. Okay, we're getting closer. And then it says, the debt the many owe the few, the day the freedom grew. Well, we said that one person's action can impact many others. So we're looking for an action that impacts more people. So we're going to go with this one. You click Save and Next. And it says, how does the word choice in stanza 2 contribute to the speaker's depiction of that day? If you click this, it'll bring you right to stanza 2. So how does the word choice work? Okay, how does the choice show what happened that day? So we have, and I'm going to click in here. It won't let me highlight. Okay, so how does the choice add to the speaker's idea of how the day went? It makes the event seem unimportant. It emphasizes the importance of the events that took place. It shows the events that took place as a small part of the civil rights movement. Well, they didn't say anything about the movement, so we can't say that it's C. It stresses how dangerous Park's decision was not to give up her seat. Well, but no one chanced to see. It stopped to pick up history. The doors closed slowly on a scene. The quiet seamstress paid her fare. So what happened? Okay, what was the word choice that added to the speaker's idea of the day? Okay, I'm going to go with B because it shows the importance of the events that took place. Okay, and then you click on the last question and it says, who are the many and the few? Use details from the poem in your response. Well, we use race, so we have to restate the question. You can copy part of the question and then add it in here. Or you can type the many and the few are the people on the bus. So I have now restated the question as a statement, excuse me, and then answered the question in my own words. But I'm not done because it asks me to use details from the poem in my response. Now I have to prove what I said. The many and the few are the people on the bus. Okay, the many are going to be the white people and the few would be the black people in this case. Okay, so the many and the few are the people on the bus. Well, how do we know that? Come back into the text, and it says the many and the few, there wasn't really much to do. No one had very much to say. Okay, and then it says she took one seat she could find, and as it happened, just behind the many people sitting there. So we have this right here, and I can highlight it again. But I'm also going to copy it, and I'm going to put, it says in the text, comma, quote, and then I'm going to paste it there. Took the one seat she could find, and as it happened, just behind the many people sitting there. Okay, and you can keep going. So you have the debt the many owe the few, that day the freedom grew into the century of Rosa Parks. So you can even add more information. But in this case, you have restated the question, you've answered the question, and you have cited from the text where you found your answer. Once you've added those things, this is what I'm looking for, you click Save and Next. And it'll tell you you have answered all the questions. If I missed a question, it'll tell me which question I missed, so I can go back and answer it. And I can always go back and click on them just to make sure. And click Save and Next, Save and Next, Save and Next. If I'm done and I'm happy with my assignment, I click Submit My Assignment. And then it asks you again if you're sure you want to submit all your answers. You can't go back and change it after you submit the assignment. So if you're not sure, click the back button. But if you're ready to submit your assignment, you click this. Now the one thing that I can do is after I've graded it, see it says grading in progress. After I've graded it, there will be a grade here. If you're not sure you like that grade, you can always ask me to redo the assignment and I can shoot it back to you so that you can complete it again and fix any problems that you have.